Hey everybody, welcome to our social media preview of the high school basketball weekend. I'm Chuck, he's Bob. We're happy to have you along with us. Let's get started with girls action. Last week of the regular season, tournament next week. You'll see sectional action on TV 46. Good one in the NIC on Thursday night over the Great Western Forum. St. Joe and Washington. St. Joe comes into this one 14-7. Washington 17-6. Stars abound. Maybe not like that fabled game we did with Skyler and Leck and all those people, but plenty of good talent on the floor.
That's the first thought I had. I was remembering back to when they packed the place. And it should be a good crowd again Thursday night at the Great Western Forum. The thing is, we've got good talent, and we've got kids that are going to go on and play at the next level. So if we can get out there and watch the game, I love the way Becca Brzezinski's taken over at St. Joe. She's got them playing tough, and of course, Washington has a couple of players that I know we're going to see a lot of.
Well, I'll tell you what, St. Joe, you mentioned people going to the next level. We know Keegan Sullivan's going to go to Rockhurst. She's got some help with Sarah Heastan and Cashin Biffle. I don't know if that's going to be enough, though, to go over to Washington because the Reynolds sisters are really good, Mila and Amia. Mila's the sophomore. She's got 450 points already this season. Amia's got somewhere in the 300s. They've got Spider Jones helping them out, too. So this is a Washington team that kind of reminds you of those building block Washington teams when Skyler was a freshman.
Yeah, and I think the Reynolds girls have a good relationship with the head coach as well.
Usually. that can vary day to day, but usually Steve Reynolds, the head coach there. And this, who knows, this could be a preview of the 3A sectional final, although Steve Scott and Marion are going, ahem.
Excuse me.
Ahem. Because they're sitting in there in that sectional too. Now, boys action. On Friday night, Northern Lakes Conference has a couple of headliners. We've done Warsaw at Northwood a ton of times over the years. Northwood always seems to have their hands full with the Tigers, and that's because Warsaw's usually really good.
It's really time to batten down the hatches a little bit for both these programs. It's a month from tournament time. The draw is going to come out in a couple of weeks. And you really get to get that mindset going that, what we've been working on during the course of the season, we've got a lot of it in. Now let's get it, let's execute a little bit better. I think Warsaw is one of those teams that we always see come together at tournament time. And Northwood's still a little bit young, but, Aaron Wolf's going to have his team ready.
Well, Warsaw only has the one conference loss. Northwood has a couple of them. They're playing a little bit better as of late. When they can get their offense going with Trent Edwards and Brock Flickinger and that crew, they're a really tough team to beat, but that offense has been somewhat inconsistent this year, which is emblematic of a young team.
And when they struggle offensively, it puts a lot of pressure on them defensively, obviously. One goes hand in hand with the other, but I really think that Coach Wolf will have his team ready to play against Warsaw, and it really is a tournament-type atmosphere.
The most meaningful game, though, in the Northern Lakes Conference this week pits the #1 team in the league, Northridge, red hot right now. They've won their last 5. Going to Plymouth and taking on a Plymouth team that, while it has a sub-500 record overall, is still 3-1 in the Northern Lakes Conference and in contention for the title. But I'll tell you about, ever since we saw them in early January, Northridge has been red hot, and I love the way this team plays together.
I love the way they shoot it from the outside. I love the way they get it inside to the big guy. And, the thing about Plymouth is, every time we've looked at a matchup this year, well, Plymouth will probably come out on the short end of that one. Then they show up and they win, so this could be a big test for Northridge. I just think that Stauffer and company have really developed, and the coaching staff took over last year. They've got the confidence of the team, and I think they're playing really well.
It's never easy to go to the Rock. Adam Hunter shoots the ball well there, so does Jake Reichard. Reichard, their leading scorer. And the funny thing about this Plymouth team, as we saw at Northwood, they tend to play better against the better teams. So here's Northridge coming in red hot. And Ryan Bales will have his squad ready.
Well, and I like the way Plymouth always executes. They're always fundamentally sound. And so Northridge has to show up, and they have to, you can't just show up and win the game. You got to play really well to beat the Plymouth team.
Now we're going to talk about 2 Saturday games this week. One of them has a team from Michigan that's undefeated, Lakeshore. Sean Schrader's team, 10-0. Dylan Clem, Ben Brower coming down to Hadaway Shack and taking on an Adams team that is ranked 10th in this week's 4A poll. Now, Adams stumbled last weekend at Chesterton. Didn't hit a three-pointer in the game. Missed about 5 layups inside. I'm sure, though, that helped Chad Johnston get his team's attention, and when they play well, they're very balanced.
Well, and they had the small rims up over at Chesterton. I think that was what I heard from one of the Adams fans. But Adams has proven to be probably the class of the South Bend area and the class of the South Bend schools. And I just think they're going to really have a good battle with Lakeshore. It's great to see the interstate rivalries, and some of those games that we've seen over the years have been fantastic. And, it's going to be fun to see what happens at Hadaway Shack, where they've had so many great games over the years.
That's a Saturday afternoon matchup. You might be able to see that one in a game we'll tell you about in a little bit. Now, Friday night, where are we going to be? We're going to be in Walkerton for the first time, as we'll check out the John Glenn Falcons taking on New Prairie. These two teams just played last Saturday night in the championship game of the Bi-County Tourney.
And it wasn't the greatest showing ever for New Prairie, but they did compete. They do have a couple of good athletes. And why are we mentioning Chase Ketter? Isn't he a football player? But he's also a great leader on this New Prairie team. And then when you look at John Glenn, they've got a nice mix, and they've got a young man, a freshman on the team, Bryson Hanna, who's going to be a terrific player. Has great basketball IQ, and his dad is the head coach, Travis Hanna. So it's going to be fun, and looking forward to be down in Walkerton.
You just saw the big fella, Corey Barker. That guy, Rob Porter, was the Bi-County MVP. You'll see them all on Friday night. New Prairie 8-6 taking on a 12-4 John Glenn team. We'll stream it live on YouTube and Facebook around 7:45 and show it on TV 46 Friday night 11 and Saturday morning at 9. But that is not our only basketball broadcast of the weekend. No, we got to keep you busy because, a women's game Thursday night, a high school game Friday, and I thought, well, Bob's going to be bored on Saturday. So why don't we go down to Oliver Gym and check out number 5 Cathedral. They're coming off a double overtime loss to Attucks in the Indianapolis City Championship. They've got a player by the name of Tayshawn Comer, a junior, scoring about 17 points a game. And they'll meet up with a pretty talented team in Culver Academy. We've seen him before. I don't know if this has gotten any publicity, but Trey Galloway is going to play at IU next year.
Hey, he's pretty good, by the way. Shoots the three, can run the floor, he's a good leader, dishes the ball off pretty well, and he's got a good supporting cast. They're going to be playing at home, and they're going to give Cathedral another tough test. This one should go right down to the wire with a really great chance if fans can get down there in person, and two of the best players in the state.
By the way, Cathedral's a very entertaining team. They score 80 points a game. Culver has kind of made its bones with defense. It should be a fascinating matchup to watch. We'll have that one for you Saturday night on YouTube and Facebook at 7:30, and then Saturday night at 11 on TV 46. So once again, the weekend. Friday night, this is your 46th game of the week. New Prairie at John Glenn, the 8-6 Cougars. Actually, Glenn now 12-4. That'll be on YouTube and Facebook live at 7:45 and on 46 Friday night 11, Saturday morning at 9. You're used to that. But then Saturday night, you get a bonus game. You get Cathedral at Culver Academy. You can watch it streamed live on YouTube and Facebook at 7:30 and watch it on TV 46 at 11.
And don't forget the girls' tournament begins next week, and it's going to be, again, a chance for you to get out and see some of the best young players in the area, and it really should come down. That sectional Class 3 is going to be dandy.
Well, we might as well get used to being at John Glenn because that's where we'll be next week for the sectional semifinals as well. We hope you get out and see some high school basketball on this weekend. For Bob Nagel, Chuck Freeby, thanks for joining us on the 46 Sports Social Media Preview.